The What to Read Next podcast helps you build a TBR of future favorite books. In each episode, Lauren and Maine interviews authors and book influencers to recommend books they loved for you to pick up today. If you're an avid reader, always looking for your next great read, then the show's for you. Hi, Amy. Welcome to What Your Next podcast.
Hey, Laura.
So happy to have you back. So tell us what you've been up to.
Thank you for having me back. I'm just getting ready for fall, deep into the fall reading mood.
Yeah.
I want either like cozy fall romances or creepy thrillers, and I'm excited to talk to you about thrillers today.
I know. We first need to talk about our book club because I realized we haven't mentioned this, but we have a book club to our listeners.
Oh my gosh, we've never mentioned it.
No.
I think it's been a while since I've been on though, so that makes sense that we haven't chatted about it. Yes.
To our listeners, we started a book club a few months ago with our friend Sarah, and it's called Do You Even Read Romance? And we pick a couple books, and sometimes we read the books, sometimes we don't read the books, but we do have monthly or every other month conversations. And we have a great group that comes to our meetings, and we just chit chat about recommendations and romance and what we've been up to.
It's probably the most low-key book club you've ever heard of, because if you didn't read the book, we don't care, because as the host, even sometimes we don't read the book because we're mood readers, and sometimes we pick a book ahead of time and we're like, that sounds great. That's what happened to our last month. We picked some summer reads, and by the time it was time for me to read them, I was like, I don't want to read summer books. I want to read fall books. So it's okay. No one cares. It's very low-key. It's a lot of fun. We do 2 picks a month.
Yeah.
And we usually try to vet them, at least one of them first. So because we've had some times in the past where we didn't, and then we were like, oops, these weren't the best choices. But we try to pick indie authors a lot of times, some traditionally published, but not the big books. We're not picking the bestsellers for the month, and this isn't that kind of book club. It's more hidden gems, and we pick by trope too, which is always fun. And we sometimes open up the voting to our members and help us pick a trope. Like I said, it's very low key. We can be swayed to do anything. We're like, oh yeah, that sounds fun. You want to read? So next month we're doing what? Neighbors? Is that what
we're doing? Neighbors. So I think it's T.L. Swin. I don't know what the name of the title. The
title is My Temptation, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. And then the other one is, what is that one?
It's Ron Parrish category romance. Something neighbor.
It's some cute fall romance that I haven't read yet that Sarah likes, so I'm taking her word for it, and we're gonna give that a shot.
It looks very fall from the picture.
No, I'm just kidding. But like sometimes in my reading for fall stuff, especially with romance, I'll grab a book because it has a very cute fall cover and like the leaves and everything, and then there's one scene and that was it.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it delivers. But I think they're doing something with some kind of festival or party or some kind of fall event. I don't remember, but I think Sarah confirmed it was fall approved. So
okay, so we're excited for that one.
Yeah, high hopes for that one for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, you can join us. We have a book. We're part of the book club apps. We just post our Zoom. Anyone can join. We typically meet at 8:00 Eastern, 5:00 Pacific Standard Time, or maybe a little later, but not too late because I'm in Eastern, but Amy and Sarah are in the West Coast.
Yes, definitely. And they're very informal chats, and we just talk about the books and what we liked and didn't like. And we also are always like, what have you read lately? What have you liked? What have you didn't like? Because we're always looking for more books to read, of course.
Yeah.
Or recommendations. So yeah, it's fun. But yes, anyone can join, and you don't have to read every month with us. You can join, you can join the meeting and not even have read the book like we do. Like it's very low key, but we would love to have you if you want to join. And our Instagram handle is Do You Even Read Romance as well. So you can find the link and all that there.
Awesome. All right. So today we're talking about creepy thrillers. You got a mix for us. For the listeners who are listening, I actually am a newish thriller reader. So I go to Amy for my recommendations of, okay, I need something that's just like creepy murder, creepy husband, or something twisty. Yeah. And so Amy will give me plot-driven, fast-paced thrillers that I get to do. So I binge on, my recent binge was Frida McFadden. I've done Kristen Mochlin or K-Mod, I think it is. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, that's what I always think too. Her name always
so all those thrillers, but sometimes I just pick the regular thrillers. And so I usually go to Amy's Reads account and I check out what she has read. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll try that one based on her rating. So I'm very excited to hear your recommendations because you curated a list for us.
I did. I tried to pick 5 different books with for a little something for everyone. And I tried to do, some traditionally published, some indie. So some I listened on audio. So I'll give you a little breakdown when we get to them. But yes, I tried to pick books that some of them are popular, but some of them I hope that are not like, oh my God, I've heard of this book 500 times already.
Yeah.
So do something different. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited because I feel like you read pretty diversely. Like you read a lot and read like different genres, like not just the popular bestsellers. Like I can find hidden
Yeah.
gems of people that I'm like, oh, I did not know like this one existed, or this person does this really well. And so that's what I like about your reading taste is I can appreciate that I can find someone who I trust to read something that's not normally being seen.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. 'Cause like I said, I'm okay. I read a lot of popular authors. Like I've read
Yeah.
like Oliver Elise Sager and like a couple. There's at least one of the books on this list that's been pretty popular, I think, on Bookstagram right now, and it's a traditionally published one. So I have no problem with that. But I like to try to find other things too. I'm not one that just wants to only read a thriller that's published by the Big Five or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I want the hidden gems as well too, and I have KU too. I want to be finding those thriller gems because it's easy to find the romance. I think it's harder for me, at least on KU,
Yeah.
to find the good thriller.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to really dig deep. I don't find a lot of recommendations, so I'm like, if they're not out there, then I'm going to try to find them so I can give people recommendations because it's hard to find thriller KU Rex, I think, compared to romance.
I when I was in my Frida journey that abruptly came to a stop with a coworker, I haven't made it past 20%. I downloaded a bunch of like thrillers that I wanted to try, and then I just was like, then my feed was like my KU feed was all thrillers, but I was like, but what if they're not going to be good? Like it's such a thrillers are hard to write. Like they're not this like it's not this like going luster. Like you have to plot it out. You have to figure out the twist and you have to give us clues, but not too early and not to figure it out because then it's like the sweet moment you're losing and you have to go blind. That's the other part. Like you
totally. And there's nothing worse than reading a thriller that's completely predictable all the way through. Like in a romance, we don't care. We know what we're getting with those. If it's predictable, whatever. But in a thriller, you don't pick one up. So you're like, oh, I want to know exactly what's going to happen. Like you want that shock value. You want to at least be a little bit surprised. And I don't mind some predictability. I've read way too many thrillers to expect every author to completely blindside me. It's great when it does happen, of course, but I still want to be like engaged and wondering what's going to happen and not knowing, oh, this is for sure where this author is going. Because there's been a couple thrillers where within 10 pages, you're like, well, I already know what's going to happen here. And then you read it and you're like, yep, that was great. That's never fun.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get to the recommendations. So,
all right. The first one I'm bringing is The September House by Carissa Orlando. And this is a debut. It's a thriller, but what I really liked about this is it was like a blend of a bunch of different things. Mm-hmm. So quick synopsis, it's about Margaret and Hal, and they buy their dream Victorian home at a really good price. But there's a reason for that. Every September, the house is completely haunted. Creepy shit happens. Blood on the walls. Ghosts. I don't even want to say anymore, but it's only in September. So Margaret's, I'll deal. I will deal with this. It's my dream home. She doesn't care. After I think it's 4 years, I'm not dealing with it anymore. He's gone. He leaves. So basically it's what happens after her husband leaves. And I don't really want to say more about the plot, but if you like the sounds of that, it blends horror, a family drama, hello, maybe I can talk, dark humor, and a psychological thriller. So it was super unique. There was times where I was cracking up. There was some of the, like even the little ghost things were funny. And then there's times where it's not funny. Like it's not overly funny by any means, but it was just a good balance. It was probably one of the more unique books I've read lately, but that would be perfect for getting you into a spooky season mood for sure. It was a lot of fun.
I'm adding this one for October just to have some ghost stories.
It is. And it was really good. I wasn't quite sure how it was all going to end. I liked the way everything ended. It was a 5-star for me, and I love the audio. I can't remember who the narrator was, but it's narrated by Margaret, and she captured that middle-aged mom kind of voice perfectly. As they're talking about who this character is, I'm like, oh my God, it sounds big. She was just one of those incredible. So that one was really fun. And I binged the audiobook in 24 hours because I was just having such a blast with it.
adding that as an audiobook. You have to let me know.
Yes,
You have to let me know if you have it in your account.
yes, for sure. I think I got that one from PRH Audio.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right.
I'll cut that out for those because I'm like,
Yes. They're like, ooh, can I get that? Okay. My next pick was The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. Have you ever read her, Laura?
no, I have not read her at all. I received a couple of her books from Berkeley just because of the relationship that I have with Berkeley, but I have not read her books.
She is great. She's been consistently a solid author for me. And I picked this one just because I think it fits good for spooky season, but I really have liked all of her books. And this one is about Shay. She's a true crime blogger, which I like that aspect
Yeah.
of it. I'm always a sucker for podcasting or blogging or anything, and
Yes.
especially with a true crime spin, yes, totally into that. And she ends up interviewing a woman named Beth, who was acquitted of 2 cold case murders back in 1977. And the present timeline is 2017. So it flips back and forth, which I like that if it's well done, like the past and the present, and it keeps you on your toes, definitely. And this has a little bit of a hint of the supernatural too. And that's one thing I really like about Simone's book is that she does supernatural. I call it supernatural light because it's like grounded in reality, like to where you think, oh, this could really happen. Some of that way out there supernatural stuff, I'm like, I can't get behind because I'm just like, no way is that going to happen. But she does a really good job at this of keeping it where it's spooky enough to freak you out, but it freaks me out even more because I'm like, oh my God, that could really happen. Ooh, that kind of thing. And she's really good at creating a good atmosphere, and there's a spooky house and all that. So that's another reason why I picked this book, like I said, because the atmosphere, the spookiness, it's just like perfect fall vibes.
Adding that one too. You're
Yeah,
giving me
but
so
like
many
I
good.
like I said, any of her books have been really good for me.
Yeah.
She has a new one out in 2024 that I'm really excited about too. But she's one that's like pretty much auto read for me. After I've read 2 or 3 books and I know they're good, I'm like, okay, yep, she's good. She's really good. So you should definitely try her if you're looking for a fall thriller.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I have next? Oh, this was a good one. It's romantic suspense. It's
Okay.
Where the Blame Lies by Mia Sheridan. Have you read any of her books?
No, I've heard about Archer's Voice for as long as I've been a reader, as a romance reader, and I, for some reason, I have avoided it. Maybe because it was maybe it was picked by Traditional Publish, so it was expensive, and but she's all the rave, and I know she writes like really
Yeah.
good. I think Ali brought her one of her thrillers up, so I am curious about her from that standpoint, not from the romance, but maybe from the thriller,
Yes.
the suspense standpoint.
I actually got this recommendation from Allie for this one because I've seen her, obviously, Mia's books floating around, and they seem like very angsty romance,
Yeah.
which I wasn't really in the mood for. But then when she told me about this one, so this is actually the first in a duet. You
Mhm.
don't have to read both of them if you don't want to. I did because I liked the first one so much. And it's labeled as a romantic suspense. I would say it was so suspenseful. It was definitely a thriller to me. Yes, there was romance and everything like that, but it wasn't like light suspense like sometimes romantic suspense can be. It was super intense and super graphic, and it was really good. But basically, it's about a girl named Josie. She was kidnapped when she was 19, and she was held prisoner for 10 months in like brutal conditions. And then she escapes after those 10 months. And I won't talk about that too much because that was really interesting. But it's 8 years later, and there's a body of a woman that was found in very similar conditions to when she was held captive. But her captor committed suicide. So the cops are like, what is even happening here? He's dead. Why is there a woman that's so much like her? And so enter Zach, who's the detective, and that's where the romantic suspense side and all that comes in. But it was really dark, really gritty, really disturbing. So this is definitely one to not read if you're just only used to reading like popcorn thrillers and not too much gore and guts. There's kidnapping, there's sexual abuse, triggers for everything. But if that kind of stuff doesn't bother you, this was really freaking good.
I need to be in the right mood for this one. It sounds off my alley, but at the same time, I need to be in the right mood.
And if you're going to read both books, don't read the synopsis for the second one because it'll
Yeah.
ruin stuff. So just go in blind. Don't read any more about any of them. And I did audio on these too.
Yeah.
Both of them were really good. Excellent audio. And another one that I was like 24 hours done. And then I messaged Sally and was like, do I need to read the next book? because it's not like you want to read it because it's a cliffhanger. The story's tied up, so you can easily read it on its own. But she was like, "Oh my God, yes, and don't read who it's about." And then as soon as it started, I was like, "No way!" Like, it was really good. She did a really good job with that. But it really made me think, okay, I need to read more from this author. I know she writes a little bit across the romance genre, but I'm excited to read some more of her stuff. I don't know if it'll be Archer's voice, but I'm definitely going to try some more of
That
her
sounds
books
good.
for sure. Yeah. Okay, let's see what I have next. Oh, this one is I think it's an under the radar kind of hidden gem. It's called We're All Lying by Marie Still.
Okay.
I think it came out like in March, so it's been out a little while. I don't think that it's on KU, but I think it was an indie publisher. I can't remember.
Yeah.
This is a good popcorn domestic thriller. It's about Cass. She's married, mother of two, and she gets this email from this woman named Emma and finds out that her husband has a mistress. And Emma starts taunting her, stalking her, and then Emma disappears. And guess who's the number one suspect? Cass. So that's pretty much all you need to know about that one. Yeah. And I love this because it's, again, I remember talking to Allie and we're like, oh my God, I love that this book is called We're All Lying, because it's like, it's upfront with who's telling the truth, right?
Yeah.
Because you hear from all these different people and the whole time it's multiple point of view. You're trying to figure out like, what happened? Is Emma even dead? Did she just go into hiding? Like, is Cass lying? Obviously, we know the husband. I think his name was Ethan's lying because he has a mistress, so you can't trust him. But it was just one of those really fun popcorn, juicy, yeah, unbelievable, but just fun, twisty. Sit on the couch and one day and read it. Kind of fun read.
Yeah. Oh, you have me a popcorn thriller, and this one is just has all the domestic, the mistress, the who's lying, who's doing this. It's just it has all the goodness, all the drama that I'm looking for.
The drama. Yes. And I know people get sick of domestic or neighborhood thrillers with a cheating husband and a mistress, but I don't get sick of it. If the author can put their own little unique twist on it, I am so in. And I felt like she did a pretty dang good job of putting her own spin on it here. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever be sick of that. It's like Real Housewives. Like, I'm never sick of their drama. Same kind of thing. It feeds that drama for me. I'm so into it.
No, it just like, I think it feeds into this. I love gossip, and you like gossip.
Yes.
Like, I love that there's something to be said about gossip, about other people's gossip, other people's drama. Like, I just want to consume it. This is like my passion. I grew up in a place where gossip was worship. And so
absolutely.
I am all about, and so I find books like popcorn thrillers, like about cheating this, cheating that. Yeah. I just gobble them because I'm like, I just want to know.
No, same. I eat that stuff up too, because if I don't want drama in my own life,
no,
absolutely not. But if it's someone else's and I can be nosy and find out all the details, I am all about that. Even if it's some fake characters, yep, give it to me.
Yep. It's just like my take on TikTok. I like TikTok, but I feel like sometimes I waste hours and learning other people's drama, because TikTok gives you the story, and then you go like back to the other part 2, part 3 of the story, and you're like, I'm learning about someone cheated on this one, or someone did this, or we're all dating the same guy, and I'm like, I'm here for it. Like, it's the same idea. Like, in book form, I'm like, I just need that like constructed in a way that I'm just like, I'm just here for that drama.
Yeah, totally. You can get, TikTok, you can go down the rabbit hole. I have to watch myself sometimes and be like, how long have I been on this app? Because you can really get going from account to account and story to story. It's a lot.
Yeah. So, but I'm bumping this one to number 1. So that's gonna be like the one I'm downloading today.
Okay, let me see if this one might get your attention too. Okay. This could be up your alley. This is my last one. It's called The Wife Before by Shanora Williams. And she's a romance author too.
Yeah.
I've only read her thrillers. I've had really great luck with 2 and 1, not so much, but this is my favorite of the 3 thrillers of hers that I've written. I would like to try a romance because she's a good writer, but her thrillers are like we were just saying, perfect weekend vintage. Let me tell you what this one's about. It's Samira. She meets this guy named Rowan. He's wealthy. He's a pro golfer. He totally dazzles her. They have a whirlwind romance and a quickie marriage. And then he finds old journals from his late wife, Melanie. She died in a tragic accident. So, sounds like we've heard that story before.
Yeah.
Right? That is not a new plot. I remember when I first read the synopsis, I was like, maybe I'll try that. But that really sounds like 5 other million books that we've read. I'm telling you, it is not exactly what you think. It is not as clear cut as it makes it seem. It's not, oh, I've read that thriller before. It's fast paced, it's juicy, it reads like a soap opera. It was really, really good. I
Yeah.
freaking loved it. And I loved that I went into it thinking like, all right, I'm gonna read this. Shelly at Shelly's Book Corner had given me the
Yeah.
recommendation. And I was like, all right, I'm going to read it because Shelly said it was good and she doesn't usually steer me wrong. And the whole time, not the whole time, but like a good chunk of the time, I was like, all right, I can see what's happening here. Oh, the wife died in a tragic accident. Wonder what's going on here. And then when everything does come together, I was like, okay, she was right. This was good. So those last two are my popcorn domestic. If you want something quick, brain candy, like I can just read this, set out the world. Those were both excellent choices for that. So those will probably be up your alley. Out of all the ones I shared, I'm thinking those two are for you, Laura. Yeah.
I think I may just pick those two. I tried to Shannara Williams. I think it was due from the library, but I may pick this one up just to make that a thing. Because she sounds similar to A. Torre or Alexandra Torre, like that. Like the Frida McFadden's, the domestic popcorn, easy to consume, easy to binge.
No, A.R. Torre is a great comp for her because I've not read her romance either, but I've read a lot of her thrillers, and that's a very similar comp. If you like A.R. Torre's thrillers, then definitely try Shannara Williams because she's pretty good. And I like a short book. I like a quick read. I don't want a 400 to 500 page book, and this woman keeps them like 300 or less. So there's something to be said that she can tie up that story that quickly. And she does the short chapters, the really short chapters, where some of them are only a page or two, and nothing keeps me reading like chapters like that. I'm like, ooh, okay, just one more, just one more, just one more.
Yeah. You have me at that. Yeah. I read A.R. Torres romance. She actually came on the show 2018.
Oh, really?
Really early on. Yeah, there's an interview. And because I read some of her indie romance, and I was like, and they're basically mystery. There's always like a mystery related to it. There's always a twist for her romance. So it was like not just like regular romance, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. They fall into it. No, there's always something overarching the story. It was interesting. And so when I started reading her thrillers, I would binge them in like a couple hours. I was like, oh, this is just great.
Yeah.
Hours sometime. I finish a book and I'm like entertained. So
I think a lot of her thrillers are on KU too because she's with Amazon Pub for them. And a lot of times if she's with Amazon Pub, they'll be free audio too.
Yep.
So that's a good way to sample her work out. I can't think of the name of the one of hers that I really like.
It's okay.
It was out within the last couple of years. It was a thriller with Thomas and Mercer though, which is Amazon Pub or whatever though. So she's definitely another good one if you end up liking Shannara's book.
Yep.
She's fun.
I love this. All right, Amy, tell us where you can find you online.
You can find me on Instagram at Novel Gossip, and my blog is novelgossip.com.
Thank you, Amy, for being on the show.
Thanks so much for having me. It's always so fun to chat with you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, feel free to share with friends, subscribe, rate, and review the show. This is the easiest way to support the podcast. For a list of books mentioned and other book recommendations, please visit whattoreadnextblog.com. Thank you so much for listening and happy reading.